Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Talk with the Titans, live from London, UK, all the way to the US of A and worldwide. I'm your host, Kalam, and this is Talk with the Titans. On tonight's show, we have the master himself, Irritated Genie, in the studios. Peace to you, my brother.
Peace, my brother. Glad to be here. Very, very happy we can be here tonight.
Excellent, excellent. You know what? It's been such a long time. Everybody has actually been calling me, has messaging me. You know, if you actually see the influx of Facebook messages, Google messages that I've been receiving to actually have Irritated Genie in the studios. Yes, that's right. You requested it, and finally, he is here right now. You know who you are. We've been asking for this brother to come in. And now I know our brother is going to be delving into the straight black pride movement. He's going to be discussing his tour in Africa. He's also going to be talking about the Black Lives Matter. And you know what? If we have time, if time permits, we can ask the brother some sneaky questions. I know you've all been asking about is the beef with Sara, Suten, and Seti. So, you know, hopefully we've got enough time. We're going to ask this brother these questions. You know, we apologize from beforehand. We had some technical difficulties. So if you are here right now, please hit that share button. Hit your share button on Facebook. Hit your share button on Twitter. Hit your share button on Google or Pinterest. Wherever you are, just hit the share button. Let everybody know that our brother Irritated Genie is on. Embed these posts in your website, in your blogs, on your Facebook, everywhere. Let everybody know our brother Irritated Genie is here with us. So, my brother Irritated Genie, you got, you know, a whole list of things that you want to discuss with us today. Could you just give us a brief overview of what you've got for us today?
Well, absolutely. We definitely going to talk about the situation we as African people find ourselves in worldwide. I think that it's going to be critical for us to realize that we are facing a similar situation to what we faced back in the early 1900s, 20th century, when Brother Marcus Garvey came out with his UNIA, Universal Negro Improvement Association. We were facing lynchings all throughout this country. Africa was being devastated by colonialism, imperialism, and European invasion at all corners, and Arab invasions at the north and some parts of the east. And so we as African people, you know, Brother Garvey and others came together and ignited a flame in African people to say, get up and do for self. And right now, we have any number of races and groups around the world that are planning and working towards the demise of African people, black people, wherever you find us on the planet. And it's time again for us to come together in a collective, unified, cohesive manner and do something about our condition.
Wow, 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 wow. Powerful. Oh, wow. You know what? If you're listening right now, I'm going to tell you again, please hit that share button and support us. Hear us on Talk with the Titans. I'm going to actually show you my Patreon page in a little while. So if you want to help and support the show and help us to prosper and grow and actually maintain the show as well, I'm going to hit you up with a link for our Patreon account. Before we go into that, actually, Irritated Genie, actually, you know, I've been surfing the web and I've been going through your website. So if I get a quick chance to jump on your website real quickly, could you just give us a quick little run through of your website for us? This is a beautiful website. It's called War on the Horizon. So that's one word, waronthehorizon.com. And already I can see beautiful images, beautiful African images, beautiful, you know, we've got Tunisian images, we've got Egyptian images, we've got West African images, you know, we've got Berber, we've got so many beautiful African images on show right now. Oh wow, Asher Kwesi as well. You know, this is a beautiful website that's done. So let's just go into this real quickly because I was surfing this. I see you've got a radio show as well on Blog Talk. Is that correct?
Yes, sir. Every Monday night, 7 to 10 p.m. Eastern Time. We've been doing a show for about 5 years now. We do one on Blog Talk Radio. We have you can either listen. Actually, if you want to listen live, you got to listen on Blog Talk. But we also have a 24-hour day, 7-day a week program station that has pre-recorded programming. You can hear Dr. John Clark. You can hear some of our programs. You can hear Dr. Amos Wilson, Dr. Francis Chris Weldon, and different people. You can even go in on our website to look at the radio and the radio page, and it'll give you the schedule so you can know what you can hear. So we have live programming, live blog talk programming. We also have a 24-hour day, 7-day a week programming for our people.
Excellent, excellent. And also, in the background there, I saw you got a beautiful, bold, wonderful color. The T-shirt just looks absolutely amazing. And I know you've got a storefront right here. Will that T-shirt be available on the storefront?
Yes, yes. When you go into that storefront, like where you are, if you come back down, where you see it right now, it only has the 3 choices. As soon as we put our T-shirts up, there'll be a 4th choice for T-shirts. We're actually going to have not only our Straight Black Pride T-shirts, which people are loving. Of course, all the brothers want the black ones, so we're ordering the black ones now. We're going to have those available, and the sisters will have black and yellow, and they're cut towards a woman's size. But we're going to have the Straight Black Pride T-shirts. We're also going to have our Black Wives Matter T-shirts that the person can go right here and order them directly from our website.
Excellent. Wow. You know what? And I love this as well. You've got a section where you've got free downloads for people to have. Could you give us like a breakdown of what you've got here?
Yes. On that part of the site, we have the basically one of the most popular DVD series that we came out with. It was called The Feminization of the Black Male. And essentially, these were some of the earliest lectures that we did where people watched them and really began to understand the type of problem and threat that this so-called homosexual agenda is having on African people. And so these buttons here are for downloads if you want to actually download them for free, because we sell our DVDs to make a living. However, these are so important and critical to our people that we made some of them available at a click of a button. As long as you have a computer, you can download it to your computer. And I see some of our links here are not live, so we got to go redo it. We've updated our website. But we actually have links where you can actually watch them on YouTube as well. You can always go to our YouTube page at Irritated Genie Speaks. That's a new page that we did so we can show more of the recent things that we've done in lectures and discussions on YouTube. Irritated Genie Speaks.
Excellent. Wow. Okay. That is beautiful. That's really nice. I'm going to try to get you the links, every single link that you've seen pulled up so far, such as War on the Horizon, and also obviously Irritated Genie Speaks, the YouTube page. At the end of the show, in the description box, if you just check the description box right at the end of the show, you're going to see those links there for you to actually click on. And please support our brother. He's been, releasing some excellent information in terms of the lectures, going touring to Africa. This isn't cheap. This is very expensive, and he's had the ability to go over to Africa and to broaden our eyes on the different cultures and things that's actually taking place out there. There is a growing conscious community all over Africa. So don't just think it's just in America or it's just in England. It's all over. It's global. It's in the UK. It's in Europe. It's in Holland. You know what I check my analytics. I see there's people in Australia, people in Japan, there's people all over Africa, full stop. He's actually tuning in all over in the West Indies, Trinidad, Jamaica, Barbados, all the small islands, Montserrat even, are actually tuning in. So please don't just think this is just a small movement. This is happening globally, worldwide. So if you're out there and you're a budding Titan, please keep pushing forward, and we're actually starting to affect change. We're changing lives at the moment. So I would like to commend the brother Irritated Genie for the great works that he does. Irritated Genie, I know you've got, so much information to go through with us, but I actually want to ask you a few questions. Yeah, I like to ask our guests a few questions just to get to know them a bit more on a personal level. Now,
Yes.
you know what? One of my first questions I've got to ask you is the name Irritated Genie. Okay, that is a very provocative name itself. So I would like to know, how did you come about arriving at the name or deriving the name Irritated Genie?
Years ago, I was in an organization, a strong Pan-African or African nationalist organization called Positive Kinetic Vision. And I read a book called The Irritated Genie. It was by Jacob Carruthers. And this book was about the Haitian Revolution. And when I read about the Haitian Revolution, I read about Boukman Dutty, peace be upon him, John Jacques Dessalines, Sister Fatima, Janot Bullock. You read about these African, really, warriors and superheroes, really, who fought the tyranny of the French, the English, the Spanish. They fought them all and defeated the greatest armies the Europeans had in the world at the time on this little tiny island called Haiti. And they were the inspiration for the Nat Turner's rebellion, for Gabriel Prosser, Denmark, VC, and all of the other rebellions we saw that came after that in North America and South America. When I read that book, it kind of, I tried to embody that spirit. I mean, it just captivated me, because I realized this is what we have to do, and this is what we're going to have to do as a race of people internationally to get our freedom. We're going to have to say that it doesn't matter what we have to do to declare ourselves independent and have dominion over our own territory and make the determination of what the future for our people will be. But whatever we have to do, we've got to do it regardless of the consequences it has for others. And so once I took that spirit, the brothers I fell so in love with that. They said I had that kind of spirit. They called me the Irritated Genie, which was the spirit of the Haitian people to resist white tyranny and racism.
Wow, that was beautiful. I love that. I absolutely love that. Everybody actually who's out there in YouTube land and just joining us right now, thank you for receiving the new link, and please pass it forward. Pass the link forward. Let everybody know that Irritated Genie is here right now. If you're loving the information that you're receiving so far from our brother who embodies the spirit of the Haitian nation, the rebellious, revolutionary Haitian nation, please give us a big thumbs up. Let us know that you're loving the information as well. Also, if you have any comments or questions that you have for the brother Irritated Genie, please leave them down below in the comment section. If you're watching live right now, leave them in the comment section. If you're watching a pre-recorded version of this show or a recorded version of this show, please still leave your comments down below, and I'm sure to pass these comments on Irritated Genie. He reads the comments. I will let him know about these comments, and any questions that you have, I will pass it forward to him for you to ask and for him to answer. So right now, let me actually hold and just pause for a second. So I'm just going to wait for you to just hit the share button or hit the like button. Let me just go real quickly into us at Talk with the Titans real quickly. So Talk with the Titans, we've literally just started up our Patreon page. Okay, it's our Patreon page. So if you would like to be a patron of the arts and spark the revolution, spark the change, and you would love to actually aid us to put forward these great works that we're trying to do right now with these videos, and we've also got loads of side projects that's taking place. We've got a tour series that's coming up. The tour series will literally be going to all of the great monuments and museums and buildings in the UK. So we've got the British Museum, we've got the Horniman Museum, we've got the Petrie Museum, we've got the Cambridge Museum, we've got the Slave Museum, British Library. We've got so many different places to actually go and film, which we've began filming already. We've got the trip out to Israel that's taking place. Stephen Graham is going out there literally Sunday. We've got trips to Egypt, etc. So if you would love to fund these great endeavors and keep us pushing forward and giving you new content, please become a patron of us. You can literally donate as little as $1 per month, or you can do as one of our lovely patrons has done so far, and they've donated $50 per month, or $50 for the month so far. And I have to give a big shout out to our top Patreon, who is, wait for it, where's Constance? Where is she? Constance Taylor. So I'm gonna have to give you a big shout out and thank you for doing this for us. This is gonna help us to continue pushing forward. New content is continuously gonna be coming out because you are donating. Okay, we've got people such as Umar Johnson, Tariq Nasheed, who's come down from America. We've got loads of footage from them. We've also got upcoming interviews to do with Robin Walker, Dalian Duffel, and so forth. This is going to actually aid us to actually shoot these documentaries or shoot these footage for you, and also to edit them. So please continue supporting us, and we'll continue giving great works to you as well. And also we're going to restart the Learn MeduNeta course. I did a free MeduNeta course where you done 3 lessons of an hour and a half to 2 hours worth. And by the end of that, you had a good number of words in your vocabulary. I believe it was 150 words in your vocabulary, able to say hello, little greetings and sayings, and also be able to read the MeduNeta itself. So if you could please, 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 help us to continue to funding and giving you such great information and great videos and great courses. Please continue to help us with that endeavor. So back to my brother Irritated Genie. So yeah, Irritated Genie, as we saw on your page, tuning into you on your website, we see you there with one of the grandmasters, Ashra Kwesi. We see you with all the greats in our African diaspora, scholars, etc. So I would like to know, how did you come into this, consciousness of self? That's all I'd like to know. How did you and when did you come into this consciousness of self?
Actually, my mother, actually, I have to give her a lot of credit for that, because and I'm getting a little bit of echo, but my mother raised me and introduced me to this information from the time I was born. In fact, as a very young child, and I didn't really understand the relevance of it, but I always remember how excited she was, and get me excited about the fact that Nat Turner, his rebellion happened 10 miles away from where my whole family is from. I mean, like literally 10 miles away. So I grew up being proud of that, not really understanding the full weight of it. But then, of course, later, he becoming my would say the ancestor that I held most dear to me, whose spirit and purpose I feel like is closely related to myself as possible. And she constantly introduced me to things like Minister Farrakhan. When I was like 12, I think she took me to see him. And that was a life-changing experience to see all these strong black men standing around. But they weren't fighting with us. They were on our side. Black people had our own army. And I had a man that would speak out on our behalf about things that were relevant to us and weren't afraid of white folks. And I had never really experienced that in that way. I was exposed to For the People at a very young age, which was a brother named Listerveld Middleton, who would interview many of the Grandmaster teachers, Dr. Yosef Ben Yakinen, Dr. John Henry Clark, Dr. Chancellor Williams, and many others. And so I got introduced to that at a young age. So it was a constant, it wasn't every day, but it was a consistency of information. I grew up listening to WOL, which was Kathy Hughes' radio station. This was long before she kind of went commercial. This is when she was talking about racism every day. And as a child, I would listen to it every day, talking about don't support these Asian businesses coming into our community. So I grew up at 8 years old, and I remember at 12 years old, in junior high school, going to the Asian store and to get a piece of candy, and the guy mistreated me, and I said, I'm going to take my business elsewhere. And I never went back to an Asian store as a youth. So not particularly not that one, but in general wouldn't go. So my mother really is responsible for me having this mentality from a very young age.
Wow, we have to give thanks to the Queen for raising you correctly. You know, it's hard out there. A lot of us, you know, didn't grow up in that, you know, with those parents who had that conscious state of mind. You know, so it must be a beautiful thing to actually have that since birth and actually directing you and propelling you in the right direction. So that's wonderful. Um, so, let's actually talk about the straight Black Pride movement. Okay. So, could you give us an insight into straight Black Pride movement for those who are not completely familiar with it? Please give us a very basic introductory level of what is the straight Black Pride movement.
You know, it's an excellent question. We have brothers and sisters around the world who, as you said before, love black people, realize that we're in a very tumultuous condition and a very dangerous situation in terms of the survival of African people if we don't come together collectively and do something for our own well-being. And these brothers and sisters got together and looked around and said, what are the problems preventing black people from unifying, coming together, and working in our own interests? And we said one of the problems we found was that we have a lot of things dividing us. Religion being a major one, politics, economic status, education, language barriers. We have all of these things that divide us. But we said we started looking at what the threats to African survival were, the major threats. But then we also said, okay, well, we analyzed the problems, and we did this over quite a long time, some independently, some together. But at any rate, we said, well, you know what? We're looking at the problem and see all the issues, but if we're going to fix these problems, if we're going to help our people move into the 21st century in a productive and positive way, and if we're going to be able to fight off the threats to African survival in the 21st century, then we got to figure out what we have in common. Because you find out what our differences are, that's great, because we need to know those things. But we're not going to be able to combine our efforts on our differences, because that's what's keeping us apart. So we said, when we looked at the differences, that we said these are the things that mostly were given to us by others, whether we like to admit it or not, but they were introduced to us by others, many of these ideas and concepts that keep us divided. We said, what are the things that keep our people together? What are the basic, simple things, like you said, that African people, black people around the world will still agree on in general, those of us that are still somewhat saved? And we only had three things that we saw. One, most black people still know that a man is supposed to be with a woman. Things are getting kind of rough out here, but in general, most black people still know and understand that a man is supposed to be with a woman. The second one is black. Most of our people still realize that the only way to produce a black child is for a black man and a black woman to come together in a union. And for those of us who still want to remain black, that has some value. And lastly, we said, okay, so we got two things that we got working together. We know that a man is supposed to be the woman, and we know that it's supposed to be a black man with a black woman. So we had straight and black. The only thing we also said we had in common was that those of us that are still sane, we have some pride in our history and our culture. We want to spend our money with each other economically. We understand that we're the only people that are really going to take care of each other. So we have some semblance of, just like I'm looking at you, a brother with his African art around, and you're doing this, and I'm proud. The brothers got their own radio program, and they're working together with brothers across the world, which means we can work together. We have a sense of pride when we see black people succeeding and excelling. So we said, you know what? We know what the different issues that are facing us are. But if we're going to fix the problem, we got to be able to bring black people together across our religious differences, across our economic differences, educational differences. And how can we do it? We said, let's have a movement, which instead of trying to get everybody to join the same organization, which means then we have to follow the same exact philosophies Let's not do it that way. Let's say if you are straight, if you are against the homosexual agenda, you're against pedophilia and the sexual abuse of children, if you have a black character and you have some sexual sanity and know that a black man's supposed to be the black woman, and you know there's a black man and a black woman, and that means something for you for a black man and a black woman to be together. If you come from a union of a black man and a black woman, no matter where they're from in the world, and if you have some pride about who we are as a people, let's have a movement that we can all participate in so that my Hebrew Israelite brother, my Moorish brother, my Haitianist brother, we call ourselves Haitianists because we believe that the solutions for our race will come from the same solutions that the Haitians brought. But we have all these different philosophies, Pan-Africanism, African nationalism, just everyday brothers and sisters. If we can agree on these three things, then what we can say is we have a movement that all of us can own and participate in. It's not one where we have chapters, but we don't care what your religion is, because we say in the Straight Black Pride movement, we have a movement where you come in with your religion and you leave with it. I'm not going to challenge your religious beliefs. When you come in the door, whatever you come in with, I want you to leave with. Just don't put that on the table, because each of us have our own religion, because as African people, as black people, we believe in a God, even if we don't say we do. We believe in decency and some self-respect. If you believe in Straight Black Pride, on some level, you have your own belief in a higher being and a higher purpose and decency and morality. So we don't have to beat each other with that. We got some basic fundamental principles we agree on. But we can support each other in business. Why do I care if you're a Moor, if you're a Hebrew Israelite, or if you're any other group, a Nubian or what you are, if you make soap? If you make soap and you're black and you got a black family, I want to support you because I got to use soap. And I'd rather give my money for the soap to my brother or sister than anybody else on this planet. Why do I care if you make clothing? Why do I care if you're Yoruba or if you practice Christianity or Islam? You know what? It doesn't matter. You're black. And that garment you make fits me perfect, man, because you made it for me because I'm black too. And I want to spend my money with you. So we said, let's put together a movement that will work, that where if a person can't agree with those three things, we don't want them anyway. We said we want a movement that's a wide road, a highway for African people, black people, whatever you call yourself, straight, you black and you proud, we can work together on that level. And the differences we have, we'll leave those out. You go back and do your whatever your political position is. You can be a Republican, a Democrat. You can say, I don't believe in none of this foolishness. Whatever you believe politically, that's your political belief, as long as you accept this basic concept here that we believe in so firmly, that our people are straight, black, and proud. We can work together. We can cross these economic barriers, and we can build some institutions for our own people.
Wow. Wow, 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 wow. Now that's powerful information out. Listen, I don't think there is anybody who's watching right now who is part of the Talk with the Titans audience can argue with anything you've just said there. So, audience members, if you are loving what our brother is saying and it's resonating with you as well, it's resonating with you, what changes will you now make in your day-to-day life? Can you now, start weaning off the Asian man, the European, and start shopping and using group economics with our brothers and sisters who look like us? Can we do that? Can we start to join movements such as this that is about our political and economical as well as our social, survival and thrivance within inside of, the largest society, whether it's the USA or the UK or Europe, etc. Can we do this? You know what? My brother Irritated Genie, if somebody is compelled and somebody is watching this right now and says, everything that you said I'm resonating with, how can they get in contact with somebody who is a member of the Straight Black Pride movement? How can they get in contact with them? How can they learn more about the programs that you offer and eventually join up and become a member?
Yes, sir. Thank you for that question. This is what we're doing. Our first international convention is going to be held in New York City. We have in a weekend, August 22nd and 23rd. The 22nd, we're doing in Prospect Park in New York. We're doing a big, just come out and enjoy. We're going to have our children. They're going to do potato sack races. We're going to play music. We're just going to have a good old African straight. I mean, don't come if you're not straight. You know, we love our people, but leave your homosexual brothers and friends and family at home. That's not, we want an environment where we feel safe with our children, friends, and family. We're going to eat, we're going to talk, we're going to laugh, we're going to have a good, comfortable time. Come out in your jeans and your straight black bride t-shirt. We're going to do that. On the 23rd, we're doing our first annual convention. It's going to be inside at the National Black Theater in Harlem, New York. And it's just going to be a phenomenal event. You come out, we're going to lay out the foundation of what it's all about and everything like that. In the meantime, to keep active and know what's going on, what people can do. One, if you go to YouTube, we have a Straight Black Pride. If you just put it in all together, Straight Black Pride Movement. Go to the Straight Black Pride Movement page. On that page, you'll see lots of different videos where we've been to Africa with the Straight Black Pride Movement, where we've spoken to the youth at the universities on the continent, where we, my daughter, every Sunday morning, we put out what's called Kania's Lessons. And basically, this is my 3-year-old daughter, and she puts out lessons for African people about straight black pride. The last one she did is her first one, actually. It was called Lumumba, Mobutu, and Africa. So go check it out on Straight Black Pride. Tell everybody about it. It's a brand new page. You can follow us there. You can also follow us on YouTube, on Facebook at Straight Black Pride. So try to follow Straight Black Pride on Facebook, and also you can follow myself, Didon Kimathi, and in parentheses, Irritated Genie on Facebook as well. Because as we get more information about membership, where the chapters are located, what you have to do to become an active member, we're going to actually have products that are packaged. Just like you see the shirt here, it says Straight Black Pride. Products, hand scrubs, soaps, things of this nature that are all made 100% by black people. And we're going to be selling these as part of the packaging, and we're going to be reaching out to people. Matter of fact, we're going to have by August, when we launch our international convention, we're going to have a brand new webpage, the Straight Black Pride Movement webpage. On that webpage, it'll tell everybody how they can become members. We'll also have the different products that we'll be selling and offering to our people. We'll also tell people who are interested, if they believe they have a product, your product has got to be a high-quality product. Everything we're going to do with Straight Black Pride, we're not doing just because we're friends. We want to prove to ourselves and our children that we do better quality at anything that we produce than anyone else. So even if people look at our War on the Horizon, our website, and look at our War on the Horizon DVDs, we package it, we try to do the best job. We produce it, we try to create the best quality products because we want our children to know anything they see anybody else on the planet doing, they can do better. And they know that they can do it better because they need to be able to look at us as a perfect reflection of what's being done better. So we're going to scrutinize products and people, but if you do great products and great services and you want to wear the Straight Black Pride logo and be affiliated with Straight Black Pride Movement, which the benefits will be, it will cost a fee. That's how we know you're serious in business. But it will tell us to tell all of our people to go in the direction of what you're doing. It's going to be a beautiful thing because before long, we're going to have thousands upon thousands, even into the millions of black people around the world who for the first time in over 100 years are beating at the same drum. Our hearts and minds are beating to the same drum, that we're straight. We're not with any of this sexual confusion. We know that a black man is supposed to be with a black woman. We are not dating anybody outside of our race, and we're not accepting the products of those relationships. We want our grandchildren's grandchildren's grandchildren to look like us and to look like our ancestors. And so we're going to follow that. And we don't walk around with our pants hanging off our behinds because we have self-respect. We don't call our women out their names because we have self-respect. Like what you said to me before we started. And some people could get offended, but me, I was overwhelmed. The brother said, hey, we have rules here. We don't use any profanity because we want this to be family friendly. I tell people all the time. A lot of our people say, well, I'm a revolutionary. Well, you know what? Most of the revolutionaries I studied were not vulgar. They may have had to kill people if it was necessary to get freedom. But Boukman Dutty, John Jacques Dessalines, when they spoke to our people, they were never vulgar. In fact, these were men of the highest quality. Queen Nzinga, these were people of the highest quality. Now, they had to go and fight, and they were fierce fighters, but they still were Africans in their core. And that's what makes us so proud about them, because they were people that we can emulate. And we need to have forums like what you're providing us here. We still freedom fighters because we're fighting for the freedom of our people. But guess what? We straight, we black, and we're proud, and we have dignity. I don't have to use profanity to tell somebody I won't tolerate their foolishness. As a matter of fact, usually in most cases, I can show you better than I can tell you. So words usually don't get it done anyway. And when they do, I don't have to. Now, I'm not saying when men are out playing basketball or men are being men in men time that we don't talk a certain way. But when we come out to our people, I want my daughter to be able to look at you and say, Daddy, that man, I agree. I like what he said. He was a strong black man. Yes, little lady. If I can't show you to her because I don't want to introduce the vulgarity to her, then it's hurt the revolutionary child I'm bringing. I'm raising a revolutionary son. And sure, if it's out with all guys, he's going to hear us talk one way. But around his mother and to our people, he's going to see an image that he can live up to and that he can say, one day I want to be like that. And that's what we have to do. We have to be clean enough. None of us are perfect. And we can't be so clean that we can't fight. But at the end of the day, we got to be clean enough that when our people look at what we represent, that our people who are down and feel like there's no hope can say, hey, man, there are black people out here who are doing stuff. How are they doing what they're doing? Maybe even, you know what? Let me talk to them. And when they come to speak to us, we don't look down on them. How you doing, brother? How you doing, sister? Where we feel so good about what we're doing that we can lift them up and make them think that they can do it too. And we can say, hey, if you can follow certain principles and basic level decency and morality of being a black person with integrity, and you can live up to your word, we can help you not only make some money, but we can help you be part of something that has meaning, and you can love waking up being black in the morning. That's what we all about.
Wow, 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 wow. I'm loving this information. Jeez. And listen, if you're feeling like me and you're excited and you're elated by what you're hearing right now, please just give us a big thumbs up. And as well, leave your comments. Leave your comments. Let our brother Irritated Genie know, you know, how you're feeling about the information that he's giving to us. You know what I'm saying? Please, like, this is very important because, you know what, being a person who is, you know, in the public eye at times, you know, it is a great feeling to hear how much, you know, this information may mean to you. Okay, it helps us to keep on doing what we're doing. Sometimes we don't do this, you know, for the money. We don't do this for, you know, popularity or anything like that. We do this, what we're doing, because we want to affect change. We want to create a change within inside of our community. We want to do these things, you know, personally, I don't really want to do these things for me or even my generation or the older generation. All my focus and attention is personally to uplift and inspire and educate the younger generation, because the younger generation is the future. You know, me and my brother, we both have children. Our children are both roughly around the same age groups, 2, 3 years old, both boys. You know what? And it's for them, it's for that generation personally that I'm looking for. And I want them to grow up in a beautiful society that they can feel comfortable with. They can feel secure in. They can feel that they can prosper in this, you know, society that they live in. So please, let's continue to do this. For them. We're doing this for the, you know, the younger generation, and to cause and create a legacy to come. So please let us know that you're loving this information, and if you haven't already, please just hit that subscribe button, because we've got loads of Titans passing through, you know, through Talk with the Titans, through the studios. As you already know, we've had people such as Dr. Ali Muhammad, Gorilla Hebrew, Shaka Ahmos, Anka Kek from the Amun Ra Squad, Jonathan Owens, Sara Hotep. You know what, the list continues. Dalian Adafo, who's just come on from the UK, who is the director of Ancestral Voices. Actually, if you haven't seen that interview with Dalian Adafo, please, 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 please just go back. I will actually put up a link right there for you to click on to and it will take you back to that video. So that's last week with the director of Ancestral Voices. He's the one that's interviewed Creole Mutwa, the Zulu. You might know him from David Icke. He's the one who's interviewed what's his name now? What am I forgetting? Professor James Smalls. He's the one that's interviewed Robin Walker, the Black History man. He's the one that's interviewed the Akomfo from Ghana, the Babalaos from Nigeria, etc. The Cambole practitioners in Brazil, South America, Santeria, etc. So please just hit the subscribe button, go into the Talk with the Titans playlist, and you're going to see a whole host of Titans has been on the show. I'm pretty sure you know now we've been up and running for, I think this is the 5th, going on to the 6th month, and you know, loads of Titans passed through the studios already, and they're continuing to pass through. You know, we've got the brother who is on right now, Irritated Genie, and thanks to you, I'm going to give you your big shout outs. Thanks to you, our audience members, who's actually been typing away, inboxing me when I say, who would you like to see on next? Who would you like to see on next? You know, and you've told us you want to see Irritated Genie, and here he is. Okay. Brief pause. For those of you who are just tuning in right now and are fresh to Talk with the Titans, let me just give you a brief run through of what we are about. Talk with the Titans was birthed out of the idea that the Titans, the intellectual giants of the community, should have a well-organized platform to present, discuss, and debate critical information affecting our community, proposed by you, the audience members, obviously, our community. So in that being said, our shows are usually divided into 2 or 3 parts. The first half is the Titans. They come on, they present information, they're interviewed, you get more insight about who they are, what they are about. And then the second half, you know, is where we have a discussion, a more open discussion, where you get to ask your questions, leave your comments. You know what? And right now, if you want to actually come in, I will post up the link for you to join us on the Talk with the Titans page. So if you go onto the Talk with the Titans page on Facebook, I'll post up the links and you can join in a little bit later on and ask any questions that you have for the brother. But with that, we have 3 rules. So if you want to join us, we have 3 major rules. The first rule is to please keep your mics muted at all times. The second rule is to respect the other person's cipher. If they're speaking, keep your mics muted. Don't overtalk them. I will invite you to speak next. And the third and most important rule, you know, we are literally a family-friendly environment. Okay, family-friendly environment, so we do not have any profanity, no swearing, no vulgarity at all. We have Titans such as Lord Abba. Lord Abba, wow, how can I forget him? Who passed through the studios 2 weeks ago, talking about the Moors and blacks, etc. You know, he has his beautiful daughters and sons that's watching the program. Dr. Ali Muhammad as well. So, you know, we have all our Titans that are watching this with their children. So please, no vulgarity at all. So with that being said, let me bring you back to our brother, Irritated Genie. So Irritated Genie, you know what? You know what? I've seen that you've got something up called Black Wives Matter. Could you give us an insight onto that?
Absolutely. There's a good brother, friend of mine named Louis Ali. He's a businessman. He's a race man. His grandfather was actually murdered by the Klan because he was financing the education of black children in Louisiana and really helping to lift people in the movement. His family's always been movement-oriented people for our race. And long story short, we were talking, and he's always been very hard on the thing about the black family. And we were talking, and he said, man, let me tell you something. He had a great slogan, and he said, it's a movement that we really need to start. And so he said, you know, Black Wives Matter. And when I first heard him, I thought he said Black Lives Matter. And but I said, well, that was started by lesbians. And he said, no. Did you hear what I said? I said, what did you say? He said, Black Wives Matter. I said, yeah, brother. And as soon as he said it, he didn't have to say any more. I started thinking about my wife and how impossible it would have been for me to be where I am today without her. and how much she means to me and my children and my family. And I said, man, without our wives, you know, without us as men being willing to say, we want to lock arms and dedicate our lives to this woman and let her know that's how valuable you are. Without that sense of purpose, meaning, and validity, and being validified in a woman, to have your 100% support for you and where you're trying to go in the world, you're really missing a major piece of the puzzle. And so first thing I did, we called up our graphic design artist. When he told me, I said, brother, if you don't mind, I said, you know, we're going to jump right on this. He said, that's the whole point. We need to do a movement. And I said, you know what? As part of the Straight Black Pride platform, I called all our folks and said, listen, brother came up with a great idea, you know, had our, you know, meeting, talked to everybody. Everybody loved it. I mean, I haven't talked to one person yet that doesn't absolutely love it. As a matter of fact, if I'm able, I would like to kind of show the image of it. Would that be okay?
Please do, please do.
Okay, let me go ahead and see if I can get this thing to work. Now I'm trying to learn a little bit of this technology. So let's see. Is it showing my screen now?
Yep, the screen share is on, but the only problem is you're sharing me. So if you go on to the picture,
I'll be able to change it 1 second. I just gotta
yeah, I know you got this. I know you got
some you know, this Mac, you know, this technology, sometimes it's a little confusing. Give me 1 moment. I'm sorry. I just had worked this thing out. It was working fine. Now I got to make it work again.
No problem. And as we're waiting as well, I want to give another big shout out to my Patreon, my patron herself, which is Constance Taylor. She believes in Talk with the Titans, and she believes in our aims and objectives. She believes in the work that we're doing. You know, we've actually had a conversation. She says literally, you know, this channel, Talk with the Titans, and Sun TV are literally the 2 channels that she watches. You know, just hook up those 2 channels, and you know, to get all the conscious information that you possibly need. And you know, I have to salute her for that. I have to give my big praise and shout out to her as well. So thank you for the support, Constance.
Are you able to see the screen now?
Yes, I can see your screen. Let me just mute my mic and show your screen to everybody, present to everyone. There you go.
Well, this is, I mean, I'm just showing some of the imagery that we do. You know, one of the things we were talking about before, when we do things, we don't want to just, this is a War on the Horizon philosophy that's also all of the people that we're working with. War on the Horizon is just one of many groups that have come together from around the world, actually, to put the Straight Black Pride movement together. And whenever we do things, one of the things we made the decision that when we do something, we want it to be high quality. We want a person to look at it and go, hey, that's hot. We don't want a person to say it was a great idea, but it doesn't look great. So we go the extra mile to work with black people who are experts in their areas to give life to the ideas in this movement. So here is the primary Straight Black Pride symbol that we use for our t-shirts, for our website. We're going to be using for all of our products, everything that we do. This is the primary symbol. We see, you know, the African continent here. We see the man, woman, and children, Straight Black Pride, the shield for protection. I mean, people can see the image for themselves. Then we also have a secondary one that we don't use a lot now, but at some point we really will use a lot. I'm sorry, let me go to the top here. These are just some different, some of the different ones that we have. This is this was started with One Horizon, and actually wasn't One Horizon. Many of the different music artists that we work with, they said they were sick and tired of making music talking about killing black people and disrespecting and defiling black women, and they came up with a whole different genre. It's not reggae, it's not hip hop, it's a whole different genre, and it's called African insurrection music. And so this is the logo for the African insurrection music artist, Queen Jasira, the first lady of African insurrection music. We call it AIM music. You have Brothers Keeper. You have United Front. You have a brother we work with as well called My Alpha Sankofa, and these are brothers and sisters who are doing some great work in terms of the music. This is our emblem for our movement. It's one of our platforms underneath Straight Black Pride and the Hot Black Coffee Party, working in conjunction with one another. And it's Black Lives Matter. And you see here we have the beautiful, we're going to do T-shirts and everything with this logo. And I know some people are saying, well, you know, sisters have a little difficulty sometimes wearing shirts with sisters on them. And I want to explain to people why we did the logo the way we did, just so people can understand we're in a different world, you know. Everybody agreed universally that if we just took the Black Lives Matter with the rings, it looks really nice, that would be a shirt that people would love to buy. But we ran into a problem with that. We said we're in such a insane, sexually insane, perverse, European conceived world that if we put this out there, we felt that the lesbian community would run to the table and take this Black Lives Matter, and all these lesbian females would be promoting that, white and black, promoting lesbianism, and white sex, which we call homosexuality, pedophilia, any type of sexual European deviance. We call it white sex because it comes from the white sexual ethic. And so we made the decision that it was not in our best interest to leave it without the image. So we wanted to put the black image on there because we also wanted to say every real black man knows. Because we realized we wanted to have a man and woman, but we said, you know what? We could do that, but we really want to make the point that we're emphasizing how important the women are. So we want to leave a woman prominent. Our black women are prominent and important. And then we wanted to have the words every real black man knows, and we couldn't figure out how to put something that included the men, so that we're saying we want man and woman. This is not a shirt or an emblem that anybody that doesn't believe in black men and black women being together can wear. This is what we came up with so that it can't be perverted and corrupted. So we really excited about it. Everybody that we've talked about with it and shown it, the women love it, the men love it, the children love it, everybody, even the slogan, people really, really love the Black Lives Matter. We also have a thing where we realize fundamentally, and this is really a war on the horizon platform, but the Straight Black Pride movement has agreed we cannot look at each other as N-words. We may have some differences. Some of us see ourselves clearly as Africans, others clearly as black, other as Moors, other as the original people. All of these things can work. However, we cannot accept the insults that have been given to our people by our enemies and adopt that as our identity and think that we're going to get any forward progress. That's a real platform that we're saying. So we said we've got to stop calling our women out of their names. And in order for us to do that, we got to start with the source word. So we have what we call the N-word free zone, meaning when you come around us, you are not going to hear us promoting the use of this word. So this is our symbol for that, saying none of these people that we see here fighting for African pride and dignity, none of these people saw themselves that way. And then this is an emblem here that people kind of get a chuckle out of. This is the no O's. People say, what is the O's? Well, you see the brother and the sister on each side and protecting. And what we're saying is that in our environments, in the War on the Horizon environments, and in some of the Straight Black Pride environments, or mostly all of them, we saying, yes, we're inclusive for African people. Yes, we're inclusive for black people. We don't care if you're Moor. We don't care if you're Hebrew Israelite. We don't care if you're Muslim. We don't care if you're Jew. We don't care what you are if you're black, as long as you're straight black and pride. But we do want to be clear. There are some of our brothers and sisters who unfortunately are in a condition we don't want their presence. And so we say no O's. The O's being no Euros, because the Euros are not our brothers and sisters. And we can't really feel comfortable, in our opinion, as black people, when we have Europeans around. That has been our experience, that when we have Europeans around and we're trying to organize with our brothers and sisters, it doesn't work because our people do not feel comfortable. And so we don't get the best out of those environments. So we said no Europeans, no homosexuals. Why? Because people like myself will love an environment, think it's great. But if we cannot be in that environment free of homosexuals, we're going to leave. So we lose a lot of good people in environments where they can't come in that environment and be comfortable that they're not going to have any homosexuals. So because of that, we created an environment in this slogan and logo. Please forgive me. I'm trying. You see me trying to get this thing back to where we can get me back on the thing. So hopefully you can switch to yourself till I get this part taken care of. But and no Negroes. What we meant when we said no Negroes was that we don't want people around. We don't use the N-word. So we're saying we don't want people coming into our environments wanting to fight and kill and shoot and harm each other. We're out here as black people with the full intent of trying to bring our people together. And if we're trying to bring our people together, then that means that we don't want to be fighting with each other. We don't want to be shooting with each other. We don't want to be talking out of our way with each other when we're speaking to each other. And so that is part of the platform that we're doing. We're saying we don't want anybody around to come around and make the rest of our families feel uncomfortable because of the things that they're participating in. Are you still with me, brother?
Yeah, I'm still here. I'm still here with you. I'm just reading some messages that we've got sent your way. So real quickly, I just want to quickly read out this quick message for you. It says, from our brother Basim, he says, I'm glad that you can come through, glad that Irritated Genie can come through to talk with the Titans platform, watching now, and big salutes to you. So I just wanted to read that out for you. Also, I don't think I'm being shown right now, so we have to apologize. We are running short of time. We're running real short of time. So if you've got any questions that you would like to ask the brother Irritated Genie, please ask them right now. The panel members, you're open right now. So if you want to ask the brother any questions, please let me know, and we'll get these questions asked. But before that, I'd like to actually ask you more about your business. I know you've got, business ventures going on. You've got relations going on with Africa. What kind of business advice can you give to our listening audience and opportunities that are available in Africa right now?
I'm gonna say for people who are into technology, the reality is that in certain regions of Africa, as many up to 70% of the financial interactions are done through telecommunications, meaning cell phones. So that if you are into the technology and you can get into the aspect of moving money or anything related to money and cellular use and internet usage, that is a huge opportunity. Also, for our brothers and sisters on the continent, many of them don't have the resources to buy computers. So it's not like here where you can't really operate without a computer. They use their cell phones as their computers. So for any brothers and sisters who either are into technology and advanced enough where you can create telephones that can really operate on the level of a computer, and you can figure out in different regions what they would be using it for, and really make it easy for them to do financial transfers with it, and purchasing, producing, and anything else that can be done, or what it can be done with a computer on a telephone, even if it's documents, writing up. If you can produce those kind of things, then there's a heck of a market in Africa, because many of our brothers and sisters, they can't afford a computer, but it's a status symbol throughout the African continent of a cell phone. I know a story of an Indian who went to Uganda with, I think, $100 in a computer. Now he made, and in his first year, he was over $1 million. He's like $100 million now. He comes from India, which means if he could do that, then any African who was thinking of this opportunity could have done the same thing. And it means that there are any number of great opportunities. And I can't name all of them at the moment, but I suffice it to say if you have good ideas, a good heart, and good intentions, and you're cautious with who you deal with, you can go to the African continent and you can help brothers and sisters not only improve the quality of their life, but you can become rich in a very short amount of time in helping your own people, as long as you deal with the right people. So it's a great opportunity for Africans who are in Europe, in America, and South America, who gain skills, but who are drowning in the situations that we find ourselves here due to racism and various other factors, to go to a place where we'll be appreciated and loved for what we bring to the table, and at the same time you can develop and accumulate a substantial amount of wealth and help our brothers and sisters on the continent. So I think it's a great time for brothers and sisters in Africa who have access to resources and across the world to be able to come together, because our continent has the resources and the ability to grow food and make it. If we can get our imports and exports going, we can actually begin to unify in a tangible way and build African power and wealth across this planet.
Wow, excellent. You know what? And if anybody who is out there who is business minded and you know, has their eyes set on Africa as well, please do drop me an email at kalam@live.co.uk as well. I'll be speaking at one of the largest banks in the world, actually, KPMG, in the November of this year. I'll be speaking there, and it's literally about this. It's literally you know, speaking with other organizations, other businesses out there as well, how we can all come together and start investing and doing business in Africa. So please hit me up on kalam@live.co.uk, and we can get talking more about this as well. So, my brother, you know what? Since we're running short, no, actually, I'm going to open up to the panel, because you know what? I want to ask you this question about Sara, Suten, Seti that everybody has been asking me to ask you. So, before I do that, I want to open up the panel for our brothers who are here right now to ask a question. So go ahead, Virtue TV. Your mic is unmuted. You can speak.
Yeah, good night. What's up, brother? Good night. All I wanted to really know is, what are you saying? White people can't join your organization at all, even if they got a good heart and that?
Yeah, we're saying that whites can't be part of the Straight Black Pride movement, nor can they join One Horizon. Our organization, One Horizon, the movement we're part of is Straight Black Pride. And no, the only people who have a black mother and a black father can be part of the Straight Black Pride movement. Yes, sir.
Okay, and what was my other question? What I was hearing that you was a CIA agent or something like that. What was this about?
Basically, I had a job, and I was working at Immigration Customs Enforcement, and basically they fired me. They came out and you know, they found out what I was doing, of course, and eventually they put it in the media, all on CNN and all throughout it was an international story, and they basically fired me. Well, you got a lot of people in the movement that once they hear that you have a job, any relationship in terms of working for the government, even if it's a job, they can't make the difference between you're active participant in the undermining of the black community and you're a person with a job. So it's just a lot of confusion going around.
Also, it was only an immigration officer.
I wasn't an immigration officer. Actually, I worked in small business, and basically why they got rid of me is because my job was to help, quote unquote, small businesses get contracts with the federal government. But you can imagine, as a black man who loves black people, who I was helping get those contracts. And so, you know, they decided probably wasn't going the right direction. So they, you know, they put a foot on a brother and told me to go ahead and leave. So I left.
Okay. All right then. Thanks, so.
Thank you. Thank you, Brother Virtue, for your question. Okay, well, questions. You know, maybe, well, I wasn't familiar with these things, so maybe a lot of people out there who are familiar with these type of subjects, hopefully that answers your question as well. I see my brother Kufu here. Brother Kufu, if you've got any questions, please ask. As well, if you are on YouTube land and you've got your questions, please hurry up and ask your questions because our time is running short. It's literally 1:30 over here in the UK. So please ask your questions. Kufu?
Yeah, what's up? Peace to the brothers on the panel.
How you doing, my brother?
Hey, how you doing? Question. Do you deal with as far as like your movement and the progression that you're trying to take as far as in the business fields with uh intellectual property at all?
We actually, at this particular moment, we don't have any deals on the table that we're doing that, but we will be doing things along those lines coming down the line.
Okay. Because when I seen the Black Wives Matter, I'm like, that's. I'll talk to you when we go offline.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you for that. You know what? I've got a few comments over here as well. They're saying, love Irritated Genie's movement to the upliftment of our community. Had to copy his DVD. So they've literally just bought your DVD right now off your website. I'm conscious now. That is exactly where I am at this moment. Great session. Thank you, Kalam. Okay. And then we've also got over here on YouTube. YouTube is basically saying, will the straight black pride movement come to Canada? And I really want to join. So the question is, will the straight black pride movement come to Canada?
Right now, we actually have someone in Canada that's trying to bring us in, likely in September, and we absolutely intend to be in Canada. The reality of it is, this movement is open for African people worldwide. If you want to start a chapter, then we got to have a strong person that we really believe in. But there's a strong black person that's really can meet these requirements and can believe in what we're teaching anywhere in the world. So yes, it's coming to Canada. As individuals, people can join as individuals, but having chapters is really going to make it even stronger. But to answer your question simply, and anywhere else in the world, if it's Nigeria, if it's South America, yes, straight black pride is coming to every country around the world with the African people. Absolutely.
Great. As well, there's just people that's all around. There's people all around that's basically asking questions. So they're from Arkansas that's asking, will it come to to their part? So obviously, that question has already been answered as well. You know what? There was a few more things that you had to cover. I'm not too sure if you've covered everything. Was there anything else that you had to cover that I missed out?
I'll just say real briefly, because I think people would like to know this. We're doing our annual Straight Black Pride tour to East Africa, February 6th through the 21st. So, most people will be coming from America, but we may have some brothers and sisters who are coming from London or other areas. So the only difference for them would be they would just get they might be able to get usually if you're in Europe, you can get a cheaper ticket to Africa, and you would just pay the price for the tour. But in our tour, we not only see the animal and the wildlife, but we go into the culture, we go into the universities. It's not just a tour where you see the country in terms of visually. You actually participate, where we actually have a socio-political economic tour where we're with our people. We spend our money with black businesses. We stay in a black hotel. All the restaurants we go to and frequent are black. We go to the markets that are black owned. It's all about working what we're talking about and making it tangible and realistic and applying these principles that we're talking about. So we look forward, if you're interested in coming, we're going to have our website strictly for the tour up in about a week and a half or so. So you can go right there, see the price, and be $3,250 US dollars for the entire tour, including the flight over. So, you can check that out and try to stay abreast with that and come on that tour. We'd love to have you.
Excellent. Great. So, you know what? I've been holding out as long as possible. And I know I just received a couple of messages saying Seti, Seti, Seti. So, here it is. What is the drama? What is the beef that's been occurring between you and Sara, Suten, Seti? Please let us know, and let us know how can this be resolved.
I'll say it this way. And I know where you're coming from because I use the same exact language. So I'm gonna change the question though, because I think it's important for us relative to what's going on, particularly in this situation. When we say beef, that's something that generally comes from hip hop. And we say, oh, they beefing because there's disagreement and everything like that. And in the personality, which has become really an unfortunate. I mean, I was part of helping make this happen. So I want people to understand when I talk about the negative impact this thing we call hip hop has on our race right now, I'm talking about something that I participated in. So I'm talking about even myself, my participation. But I'm saying beef is something that's relegated, when we use that term, to a kind of juvenile, perpetual state of adolescence with this music that's now become all about calling each other out of our names, talking about killing each other, calling our women out of our names, sexual degeneracy and violence and hatred towards ourselves, and worship of white folks for the most part. That's beef. When you have Africans who disagree about what it's going to take to uplift our race, that's not beef. Those are legitimate differences. And the reality of it is there really is not a personal thing with this individual per se. I don't really want to speak to him as much as this is a generic thing, because I'll be honest, at this point in time, for many years, in fact, it's not him as an individual that I've been in a disagreement with. Every black person, and brother, you know, I don't know what you do, but I don't know too many people who don't use the N-word. Since the 1990s, when I stopped, I used it more than all of y'all put together. So let me be clear. You know, I had to detox. But when I stopped using it, because I realized the damage and harm it was doing to our people, when somebody checked me on it, I've been in conjunction with other brothers and sisters who've gotten on board on a mission to recalibrate the brains of us as black people. Every movement, once I studied it, I realized how deep this is. Every movement since the time of Garvey, including the Garvey movement, the UNIA, every legitimate self-help movement for black people that has come out of America started with us alleviating that word, eliminating that word from our vocabulary. Brother Garvey, in his UNIA platform, where he had the largest self-help organization in the history of the world, declaration number 42 was that we deprecate, meaning we hate the use of this term. And he spelled the term out. We hate this. This is not who we are. We're going to change the use of this term, and we're never going to use that for our people again. That was part of his basic fundamental foundation. So that when you say RBG, or red, black, and green, and you're using the name of Garvey in his platform, to use that term under any circumstances and for any ridiculous excuse is complete disrespect to that man and everything he stood for. And further, all we are doing is reinforcing self-hatred and the fact that black people have no value. So when you saw a disagreement with myself and Sara, Suten, Seti, or anybody, I mean, quite frankly, right now, I'm in disagreement with just about every single Pan-African, Negro, Mobutu race trader. You go around the world, if they're black, they disagree with me. So it's not just personal to him. But what I am saying is this. We are in a very dangerous state for what we call Pan-Africanism or African nationalism. And I have to make this point because I want to speak to it, because I think this will really help people understand what's going on. If people can really understand this point. During the time of Public Enemy, we had a period in our history here where hip-hop had become very useful to our people, and one of the most revolutionary tools we had for uplifting the minds and the mentalities of black people in America, and it was spreading around the world. A group came out called N-Words with Attitude, NWA. They called themselves N-Words. 1988. Since that time, the positive self-help, proud, productive mentality that was given to our people, an aggressive mentality to fight white supremacy that Public Enemy represented, and X-Clan and Boogie Down Productions, KRS-One, and Brand Nubian, all these other brothers and sisters would come with this positive message, has completely been eliminated. And the only thing we get now is self-destruction, self-hatred, disrespect, and an annihilation of the black self-image. The same way that NWA was the death of anything that could be considered positive and uplifting for what we called hip-hop. The same way that that platform was destroyed by black degeneracy and black self-hatred that was sponsored by small hats, whites who call themselves Jews, we call them small hats. The same way that was destroyed. The platform that has uplifted black people for over a century, the one that Brother Garvey mastered, where we go before our people and give our people the information and knowledge of our history and culture and proper perspective and an example of some level of decency that people can reach up to and a standard that people can reach for. That platform is now being threatened by black degeneracy. We lost what we call hip-hop. It is no longer of any value to our people in the current state that it's in. That's why we created African insurrection music, because we lost what we had called hip-hop in terms of it being of any value. The same way we lost that, if we who call ourselves responsible, conscious black people worldwide do not put the brakes on degeneracy posing as nationalism in our ranks, if we don't put the brakes on it and say, wait a minute, there's certain, like you did when you say there's a certain way we got to talk on this radio. We can have disagreements, but we're not going to be profane, because that prevents our children from being able to listen to the dialogue and create an opinion. We want revolutionary children too. We want our children to fight against police brutality. They fight more than we do. We want them to fight against it too, but we got to be able to give them the fuel to do that. And how can we do that if we vulgar in everything that we do? This platform of so-called Pan-Africanism or black nationalism, black consciousness, black manhood, black womanhood, Africanness, we call it Haitianism. That platform was given to us by decent Africans who were unwilling to compromise for black progress. They would not compromise with anyone. They went to battle and warfare when necessary to produce for our people, but they were decent, not perfect, decent. We cannot allow black indecency to engulf our race at the highest level, which is the level that lifts us up, which is Brother Garvey's platform. That platform is the same platform that the most honorable Elijah Muhammad used to create the most powerful organization that lasted the longest time we've ever produced in the Western Hemisphere, the Nation of Islam. The largest organization, the one that Brother Garvey produced, peace be upon him, the UNIA. Even the platform of the Black Panther Party. Even the platform of SNCC and so many other platforms that were created to help our people. They were produced with a foundation of at least the appearance of decency and dignity. We have to remember that and enforce that, unless we want to lose this platform, and then we would have to create something entirely new, which I don't know what it would be, to then galvanize our people with a sense of self-respect and integrity. So the difference you see with myself and that brother and anybody else is that we got to stop using this term. There's no negotiable position to justify us working on behalf of the white interest to destroy the psychological self-respect in our children and our women and in ourselves. It's no room for it whatsoever. And beyond that, whatever our vices are, if we drink alcohol, we don't bring that to the table. If we like our women, and I mean I like black women, but if we want to chase around after every sister we see, it's not right. But if you're going to do that, you don't come out and promote it as acceptable. Whatever vice you have, that may be your vice, because we all have something. You keep that hidden and you work on it to improve yourself. But when you come to the table to present this platform to our people, to uplift our people, you give them a clean glass of water. Even where your glass may be a little dirty, you keep the dirt for you. You give your people that clean glass so that they can aspire to it and improve themselves. And even where we may be wrong or weak, they may be even stronger and can do better. So that's the only conflict we have, and it's not relegated to that brother. It's everybody out there I'm talking to. I disagree with it, and I'm going to continue to disagree with you when you're wrong. And I want people to disagree with me when I'm wrong, because we want to win. And we can't win if we can't criticize each other when we're wrong. And when we get to a point where we're too wrong, that we're doing damage to the race, then we got to go beyond the point of talking, and we got to enforce standards, whatever that means, basic standards. Not you got to do it my way, but we have to have a basic standard that is acceptable for our people. That's all we about, brother.
Wow. Absolutely wow. I'm kind of taken aback right now. That was absolutely phenomenal. And you're correct with that as well, because so many times, you know, we kind of let things slide. We see a brother or sister that's doing great jobs, great works within the community. And because they're doing so much great works, we kind of, you know, shy from criticizing them. Not criticizing them, should I say, from actually speaking out and telling them that they're doing something that's incorrect, whether it is, you know, smoking, and actually promoting and propagating that attitude and that demeanor of, you know, carefree, we can smoke and it's okay, or, you know, dating outside of your race, etc. If you believe in your heart of heart, that is incorrect. That is a way of causing the species of black people to become extinct. You know, we should actually be able to be free enough to tell our brother or sister or brothers to pull up those pants, to stop smoking, to, you know, stop the drinking so much, to you know, go with your own race, etc., etc. So I feel what you're saying right there, and that was very powerful indeed. So right now, if you're watching right now and you're new to this show, listen, just hit the subscribe button and just go back into all of our playlists. We've got a playlist on our YouTube page that says Talk with the Titans, and we have, you know, over, you know, close to 30 different 2-hour-long videos on there. So choose whichever you want to choose and watch and catch up to see how, you know, what great Titans we have passing through our studios. We're literally reaching the end of the show right now. I don't want to close out right now. I see that we've got our brother Jason, who's just joined us. I'm pretty sure he's found the link on the Talk with the Titans page to come and join in. My brother Jason, how did you actually find, you know, the link to come on here today?
You sent me the link on Facebook. So yeah, I was involved in something earlier, so I couldn't get on when y'all started. So I apologize for that, brother.
Great. And was there any question that you have for our brother Irritated Genie?
I don't know if he answered this already, and I don't know if it's off topic. But there has been discussion of the usage of the word devil when we refer to the white man. You know, some people say we shouldn't use it. Some other people, you know, choose to use it. And I wanted to know his thoughts on that. I say he's a devil, but I wanted to know his opinion on that.
Yes, and I'm so glad you asked that. I really appreciate that question. My answer to that would be, we are staunchly against the use of the N-word because we love our people and we don't want to fight with our people. Now, we created a term Mobutu because we do have racial traitors who work in behalf of white folks like Mobutu did with Lumumba. So we create our own terms. But now, we don't love those that are trying to kill our people. So in answer to your question, not only is devil acceptable, but if we want to say devil, some of our people say cracker because they used to crack the whip, or some of them say cracker because they brought crack into our community to destroy our communities and crack the foundation of the black community. If you want to say demons, any term, the reason we say that is for this. The reality of it is this: we can't be dishonest with ourselves. From the time that we have history of having interaction with them, they have been killing black people, tricking black people, and undermining everything that we've been trying to do to keep ourselves afloat and move forward and prosper. As a result, it is honest assessment to say, as a race, they are an enemy race to our people. No lion sits around and judges the hyenas by an individual hyena. Oh, that hyena, he came over here and laughed and we had a good. He doesn't do that. He knows the relationship with the hyenas. He identified those are our enemies. when a race of people in our condition have enemies, if a good-hearted people like us are going to defend ourselves against those enemies, we cannot be referring to them with positive terms. We have to have terminology that constantly reminds us, do not get fooled into thinking that this individual is your friend. They killed your great-grandmother, they raped your great-grandfather and grandmother, and they destroyed civilizations. Don't forget who they are. So to your answer to your question would be, not only is it okay, it is the only thing that a responsible, conscious African in the right environment will do. Because if we call them people, then what is different between them and us? Black people and white people, then they're on an equal basis. If we know that they're doing harm to us and we're trying to resist that harm, then as a psychological tool to resist, we have to say, no, give me another term that constantly reminds me that they're at odds with us. And I like that term, devil. I think it's an appropriate term. I think their behavior demonstrate that. I think their sexual degeneracy. I think their bombs that they use. I think the GMO products. I think everything that they do demonstrates that that's an accurate title for them coming from our people. I love it, my brother.
Oh, wow. Okay. Now that's going to cause some controversy. Wow. Okay. Real quickly, we're going to actually...
Can I just say one thing, because I don't want to be confusing with that.
Go ahead.
That is coming from the Irritated Genie. That is not the straight black pride movement philosophy. The straight black pride movement is not, it is about building black families. So that would not be the answer coming from the straight black pride movement, because it doesn't even focus on white. It focuses on us bringing ourselves together. As the Irritated Genie of Southeast from One Horizon, that would be my answer.
I love this. I love this. I love this. Even on our YouTube, YouTube members are saying, you know what? I love Irritated Genie. This brother has integrity. I think that is a beautiful word to sum up our brother. Indeed, integrity. Real quickly, just a quick, announcement. So, we've talked to you about, we've literally launched our Patreon page. So if you want to help us and donate to us, you can donate as much as you like. As you can see here, we've got a donation of $50 per month. Or you can donate as small as you want, which is $1 per month. And we have a few rewards and perks, for our members. If you donate a certain amount of money, you get to have access to content early, access to the panel member, and the after show access. Because right now, after we go offline, our panel members will be able to speak with Irritated Genie one-on-one and ask him more personal and private questions. And you can also talk with me as well. If you donate over a certain amount of money, again, you'll be able to get credits, producer or special thank you credits at the end of our videos or pieces. So please, if you're loving the information that we're doing, we're trying our very best to advance in what we're doing. We're constantly trying to push forward. So if you would like to help us keep on going, keep on pushing forward and creating great content that you like, hit us up on the Patreon page. It's pretty much simple. All you have to do is press become a patron, enter the amount that you want to. If you want to donate $10 as a one-off, $20 as a one-off, or even $1 as a one-off, or even $3 on a monthly basis, you just have to do that, continue the confirmation, and add in your details, and it's that simple. So if you want to help us and support us to create new content and keep having great guests such as the Irritated Genie on, please help us to continue and donate to us on our Patreon account. I'll definitely leave the link down below for you as well to click on. And I have to give my big shout outs and thanks to everybody who has donated and actually has supported us, because there's other people who supported us in terms of editing, doing editings for the shows and the trailers and so forth. So I have to give a big shout out to those people as well. And also cameramen that has helped to film certain parts of the shows as well. So please, I have to give you all a big shout out. Thank you very much for the continued support. Brother Irritated Genie, I'm leaving the floor open to you right now. If there's anything that you would like to say before we close out, please do say what you have to say. And everybody who is on YouTube right now, I apologize that I can't. I'm reading your comments right now, but I haven't got the time to answer them. If you want to go on Talk with the Titans, you will find a link that will draw you right in to the private after show access. Okay, so you can join us right there. So my brother, Irritated Genie, I'm going to leave it to you right now.
All right. Well, first I want to thank you for this forum. We always appreciate any forums that we're invited to by our brothers and sisters, but I have to say I'm very impressed with the approach that you're using. It seems like, honestly, and it's not a recruitment tool here, but I'm saying you brothers and sisters sound like you straight, like you black, and like you proud. So you sound like brothers and sisters who would be on board with something like this. This is one thing I do want to say about the Straight Black Pride movement that I think people will be able to appreciate. When we discuss, because we're from different organizations, and all of us do things differently. One of the things we said we wanted to do, we don't want to tell people to stop doing what they're doing. You see, because when you start an organization, people have to be of exact like mind. There's no way to move forward if you don't have like mind. You got to have synergy. We said we don't want that. We want all these other brothers and sisters. We're all out here doing our work. We want you to do what you're already doing. We don't want to take your identity away, but we want to have something that we do collectively. And so when we created this movement, we want people to understand, yes, there is some law and order in it, and yes, there are leaders of it. But mostly those leaders are localized, and myself being really the spokesperson. But wherever we are, you can participate in this process, even if it's buying the t-shirts and wearing them. And when the literature comes out and the website comes out, as we're promoting black families, and you're talking about this, if you're having meetings and gatherings and talking about how do we promote these concepts, stop the stem the tide of this sexual insanity that's being pushed on our children. How do we make sure that we raise healthy daughters that'll be great wives to healthy boys that we're raising as husbands and produce healthy families? This is a movement. It's not an organization. It's a movement that belongs to our people. And as long as people, you got to be perfect. Let's say a brother says, man, I still smoke a little bit, or whatever the case may be. Well, you can't come to a meeting doing that, and you can't promote that. But if you're still dealing with your issues, but when you can come to a meeting, you can come straight, not high, not drunk, even if you do stuff that's not right all the time. But you say, hey, I want to help build black communities too. So I'm coming, I got a little bit of money, I'm going to put my money on the table. Or I can help with the young boys basketball team, or organizing this. Or the sister say, well, I don't do a lot, I don't know a lot about conscience, but I can really cook well. Well, when we have our meetings, sister, we like to cook. Well, she'll get the money, buy the food, and cook. And then you mean everything to us, because all of us have different skills. All we're saying is we have some basic standards, which are straight, black, and proud. And we want brothers and sisters out there to hear that. We want you to get excited, because it doesn't belong to us. It belongs to us. Straight black pride is something that was here before we put those words together. That's who we are. All we're doing is saying, hey, let's capsulize what our ancestors are in the context of the world we live in today, in a way that helps us see what we're facing, some of the threats we're facing, and fight against them without actually going out and hurting anybody necessarily. We're just saying we're going to stay straight, which means, obviously, that means that we're not going to allow you to teach our children that two men can be together. Okay, fine, but we're not saying you got to go hate anybody. No, well, we can protect our own interests. We're not saying you want to go date somebody white, you can't do that. We're not saying that. We are saying when you come to our meeting, you're not invited. Because not only can you not bring that individual who's not a member of our race, but since you decided that's where you want to go and spend your time, we want you to do that exclusively. Go ahead, if that's the side you want to be on, because we're building something different, and we can't do it with this kind of confusion. So what we're saying is, we have something we believe that every black man who either is married to a beautiful black woman, or wants to be married to a beautiful black woman, or even wants to date a black woman, is looking for a sister, that means he's still sane. We believe we have something that he can appreciate and love. We believe we have something that
When was the last time we had an idea that was good, wholesome, but also cool and strong that we could give our children? To say that's what you should believe in. The last thing we gave them was hip hop, and it was good for about 3 or 4 years. It was strong, and ever since then, it's told them that they have no value, that they're a bunch of whores and degenerates and dope addicts and people that don't build or produce anything. We're saying now we're going to have something to give our children and say, hey, you straight black and proud. You know why you proud? Because you build your own businesses. Because you are now, you got skills to build a home, young man. Because young lady, you're a seamstress and you make clothes for our community. You're proud because you spend your money with your own people when you buy products. You build and produce for our race. So we want people to get excited about it. We want you to look for that. Join us at Straight Black Pride movement on Facebook. We want you to join us at Straight Black Pride on Facebook, on YouTube, Straight Black Pride Movement, on Facebook, Straight Black Pride Movement as well. Stay in touch with us. Watch what we're doing. Join, become part of it, and get on board of this movement that's going to change the world for African people.
All right. You already know already that within the next few weeks' time, I'm going to be wearing that T-shirt. You see that T-shirt right there in the background? That T-shirt right there, you will see it officially on my chest, on my body. I'm telling you this from now. Support our brother as well, because I'm definitely going to support the brother and the movement. So those of you who are in the UK, I'm going to actually be talking with Irritated Genie behind the scenes, and I'm going to get more information about the movement and how to establish a chapter here in the UK. And if any brothers and sisters are listening right now or listening later on would like to know more about the movement and know how to join the movement and what types of code of conducts that are involved in the movement and the values and the vision that the movement has, you know, I'm gonna basically try to be, you know, the go-to contact guy, try to establish it for my brother out there in the US, so we can have something here in the UK for the people that want to join over here. So hit me up on my Facebook, or hit me up on Talk with the Titans, or hit me up on my email address, kalam@live.co.uk. And if you've got any skills or anything that you would like to offer to our brother Irritated Genie, hit him up as well and let him know that you're definitely interested, and then we can have something established over here, and I would definitely promote the Straight Black Pride movement over here in the UK for those people who would love to join that movement as well. Okay, so my brother, you know, we've reached the end of the show, but we're going to talk behind the scenes. You already know. So for everybody else, I've been Kalam L, and this has been Talk with the Titans. I'm signing out. Peace.
Straight Black Pride.